The Future Foundation has three major tasks. First and foremost, it will establish a number of research centres dedicated to exploring the physics of time, for the purpose of further researching and developing the different techniques and methodologies we might one day use to send a transmission back through time. There are already many physicists working on relativity, space-time theorems, and NASA has just recently sent up a satellite which proved conclusively that the Earth's gravity does bend time, as Einstein predicted. The Future Foundation will provide substantial funding to physicists who wish to focus on developing the equations and methodologies required to send back transmissions through time. We do not expect a quick outcome. It may take decades before a breakthrough we are all looking for occurs. However, we will have initiated the inevitable chain of events required to develop a transmitter. The second task of the Future Foundation will be encourage and support young people who wish to undertake experiments in time projects. This will be achieved in many different ways, from financial support for projects to providing them with technical backup and advice if they require it. The third task of the Future Foundation will be to initiate projects which will put an end to climate change and begin rebuilding the planet's environment. Of course, these two projects will cost billions of dollars. So one might ask where the Future Foundation is going to get this kind of money from. The answer is, I am 100% sure future generations will ensure the Future Foundation becomes one of the richest and most powerful organisations on the planet. How can I be so sure? Well, let's logically analyse the situation for a moment. Future generations have just spent billions, if not trillions of dollars researching and developing the technologies to send a transmission back through time. Why? To save their future, of course. Everything they do and all transmissions they send back through time will ultimately aimed at getting us to stop our excessive greenhouse gas emissions and start rebuilding the planet, so their generation can inherit a world where forests have already regrown because they were planted by us more than 100 years ago. A world where CO2 levels are back to before pre-industrial times, because we all got rid of our fossil fuel burning engines and power plants more than 100 years ago, before their time. However, none of these things can be achieved unless future generations not only give us the plans of the technologies and applications we need, but also the money to make these outcomes happen. How can they send back money, you may well ask? Very simply, by transferring the knowledge of all new technologies to the Future Foundation, the Foundation will be able to collect huge revenues from the licensing out of these highly advanced technologies to thousands of companies. The enormous revenues these licenses will produce will be invested back into rebuilding the environment. The richer the Foundation becomes, the more it can rebuild the environment. And the more it has to spend on rebuilding the planet today, the better the planet future generations can expect to inherit.